Yo guys, it's Nick, and Vertigo is less than 2 months away. With the super high stakes of battles this year, we decided to write and release an official competition rule set to help you guys with your training. Mike and myself drafted the initial document, and then we sent it to our 5 judges to be edited over a 2-week period into the final version that you see here. And remember, if English isn't your first language, we have auto-translating dubbing available in the YouTube video settings. Before we get into the document, let's go through our 5 judges. First up, we have Aiden Scott from Colorado. He's a former cork swing world record holder with 30 corks. So needless to say, he has an understanding of elite performance in tricking. He's also an experienced coach and judge, judging last year's Vertigo 6 competition. Next up, we have Taka Enomoto from Japan. This man needs no introduction. He's the founder of Volatrix and one of the biggest and most successful tricking coaches in Japan. And of course, he has many years of experience both battling and judging at the highest level in world competitions. Next up, we have another veteran, Alex Kerwood from Colorado. This man has maybe been to more gatherings than anybody else on planet Earth. He has years of tricking coaching experience and judging experience at multiple world level competitions such as Vertigo, Loop Kicks, and Hooked. Next up, we have Mikael Mantis from the Bay/the DMV. Most of you should know Mikael as one of the original founders of Vertigo and a host of the first 5 Vertigos. So needless to say, he's not only influenced the Vertigo competition, but also years of behind the scenes perspective. He's also one of the most accomplished vert kickers in the world, meaning he has excellent insight on some of tricking's hardest kicks. And he also has experience as a world competition level battler. And last but certainly not least, we have Thorn Anderson from Atlanta. Thorn is a master of style. He seamlessly integrates complex transitions with intricate groundwork and world-class power moves. And he was a top 16 competitor at Vertigo 5. Thorn's endless style and diversity gives him a unique perspective to judge tricking. So now, without further ado, let's get into the rule set. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is read out the overall note at the top of the rule set. The following determinants are not weighted in such a way that one consistently overrides another. Rather, they serve to iteratively contribute to the overall evaluation of a battler's performance. The ranking of the determinants suggests the order of consideration when contributing to overall evaluation. The first determinant is difficulty, simply defined as complexity times power. Complexity is affected by all the intricacies of your combo. This includes the landing stances, the transitions, variety, setup choice, creativity, and really, this is the flavor of your combo. The best way to maximize difficulty is by having a powerful and complex combo. It is much harder to get a high difficulty score by doing a singular power move, because that power move will need to be world class to compare to a highly complex and powerful overall combo. Similarly, trickers with less powerful individual moves can still boost their difficulty score by upping their complexity and leveraging a wide variety of skills in their combos. The power criteria is judged on individual skills. So this is determined by the number of flips, the number of twists, and the number of variations in the individual skills. Remember that difficulty is being considered as power times complexity, meaning one is not more important than the other, and they are both crucial when trying to maximize your difficulty criteria. The second determinant is execution, and similarly to power, execution is observed for each individual trick performed. Execution is judged by kick height, kick extension, variation definition, rotation completion, and the quality of the landing. Your landing quality is not only affected by your amount of rotation, but also by the type of fall you do or do not have. Falls is really where stuff starts to get interesting in this year's battle criteria. For the first time, we're implementing a spectrum of falls, where not all falls are created equal. I'm just going to read the preface for this part before we get started. All falls are different, and the classes below serve to set guidelines and give examples for various scenarios. The evaluation ultimately lies in the hands of the judges. Not all falls are equal, and certain falls do not automatically result in a loss. So it's been a highly debated topic in the world of tricking battling, how much a fall should affect one's pass. This year we believe that in no case should a fall automatically consider a pass a failure or a loss. However, that doesn't mean that all falls are created equal and that falls can't still be detrimental to your combo. First, we have a class 1 fall, where a body part skims the floor with negligible effect on the landing. This means that whether or not that body part touched the floor does not change whether you are going to land on your feet. And just a quick note, in the PDF linked below and that I'm showing on screen, there's examples of all these types of falls linked. A Class 1 fall will really only impact the judging decision if the other combo was significantly more difficult or significantly better in execution. If two passes are pretty close, a Class 1 fall shouldn't be the make or break determinant in who wins the battle. Remember that this is an overall judged battle. It is not one pass against another pass. So when an entire battler's performance over 3 passes is taken into account, the effect of a Class 1 fall is very small. A Class 2 fall is when one or more body parts touches the ground and assists in the landing. A Class 2 fall is still somewhat of a controlled fall, but you needed to use that body part to help you land. So for example, you might have completely put a hand on the ground, done an aerial off of your head, or fully touched your knee to the ground. A Class 2 fall will greatly affect your execution score and will essentially just erase that trick from your combo in difficulty. So we have a couple examples for this type of fall. A backside 12, hook, cart, triple full, vanish 9, hook, TDR triple cork with a Class 2 fall should still win over cheat 9 hook, cart, triple full, because backside 12 and triple vanish outweigh the Class 2 fall deduction. Of course, this is all based on context. Judges will have to, again, judge the entire battle based on overall performance and take a close look at the execution. But this is just to say that it's still possible to have a successful pass with a Class 2 fall. A Class 3 fall is a complete fall that stops all of your momentum. This type of fall effectively will destroy your combo. In order to compete against another pass, that pass will essentially have to be forfeited in terms of complexity. For example, a standing back tuck. Class 3 fall combos are really only comparable to other Class 3 fall combos, or a Class 2 fall combo that has significantly lowered difficulty and execution. The third determinant is battle presence, and there's only 2 factors of this: response factor and surprise level. There's a little note here that I'm going to read. Battle presence, although subjective, are judged on the tricks alone, like all other categories of judging. Therefore, actions outside of a tricker's pass, for example, taunts and celebrations, are not a part of this category. The battle is evaluated based on overall context with regards to the tricks performed and how they were performed. So we want to make it very clear that whatever you do outside of your tricking combo, whether that be a celebration, some form of intimidation, crowd engagement, that is not a factor you're being judged on. Response factor warrants the observation and response of other passes completed by the opponent in the same battle and/or other battles throughout the tournament. So what this means is the judges are judging response factor based on what your opponent did in this battle and their previous battles. This is to not give too big of an advantage to the person that's going second. So even if you're going first in your battle, if you know that your opponent is a big double flipper and they've demonstrated that elsewhere in the tournament and you come out with a monstrous double flip combo, that will massively improve your response factor, even though you went first in the battle and didn't technically respond to anything. Same thing goes for surprise level. This is really a subjective category that's based on the judges' perspectives. But if you incorporate surprising tricks and transitions in your combos, you can expect to score well in this category. Don't be cookie cutter, be creative, think outside the box, and use all the skills you have in your tool set. This will help both your surprise level score and your difficulty score by increasing your complexity. Blatant repetition of a pass throughout multiple battles or within the same battle can negatively affect surprise level, despite not affecting the difficulty and execution. So this is to say that just because your combo is not surprising doesn't make it any less difficult. If you're extremely capable of cheat 12 hook TDR triple cork and the judges know that, that doesn't take anything away from the difficulty. However, it can affect this category, which may harm you if your opponent exceeds here. You may notice that a lot of this criteria encourages thinking outside of the box, using all the tools you have at your disposal, and being creative and strategic to have an advantage over your opponent. Remember, this is tricking, not gymnastics. Use everything in your bag to come off as the more complete and skilled tricker on the floor, and you will be rewarded. The judges want to see you take risks and leave it all out on the floor. So now let's get into the nitty-gritty with the rules and regulations, along with the battle formats. The prelim format. 5 competitors will perform in a jam style for 2 minutes. This means there is no set order for competitors to perform in, nor a limit on the number of times they can go. An automated voice will alert the competitors of 90 seconds remaining, 1 minute remaining, 30 seconds remaining, and 10 seconds remaining. A buzzer will sound at the expiration of time. The timer will be visible on a screen for all competitors to see. Time is subject to change depending on more or less competitors in one heat. So this is just a thing based on how the numbers work out. If there's a heat with 6 people, we'll adjust the time by adding more time, just to ensure that all prelim competitors get a chance to go. The rule of time. The final buzzer signifies the end of all judging. Any tricks performed after the buzzer, or even at the end of a combo, should not be considered. For example, a cheat 9 hook followed by a buzzer followed by a card trip should be judged as cheat 9 hook. A trick that is mid-air during the buzzer, however, should count. There will be a 10-minute warm-up for the trickers in the first half of the prelim groups, then an intermission halfway for another 10-minute warm-up period for the second group of competitors. Preliminary selections will be judged on the aforementioned criteria, so it's being judged the same way as the 1v1 battles. Following the judges' evaluations, the trickers will be seeded into a top 16 bracket. Here, they will move on to the 1v1 battles. There is no minimum or maximum for how many trickers must make it from each prelim group. So you're not competing against just the people in your prelim group, but everybody in the prelims. The 1v1 battle bracket will be seeded in a top versus middle style, where the seed 1 will battle seed 9, seed 2 will battle seed 10, and so on. Now for the open division rules and regulations. Each battler will have 3 passes, and we've upped the time of rest between passes from last year to 35 seconds. The order of first and second will be chosen by the higher seeded competitor. The rule of time. 35 seconds of rest will be initiated between each pass. The tricker does not need to start in this time, but after the time expires, their pass may be stolen. Starting a pass will be considered the tricker initiating momentum with intention into their first skill. Ending a pass will be considered the discontinuation of momentum longer than 3 seconds. This is to allow for passes that may have a pause in between intentionally, just to make sure that the tricker is completely done before the timer starts and the next tricker can go. A timekeeper, separate from the judges, will operate the clock. Rule of stealing. A pass may be stolen after the 35-second pass timer expires. A tricker may not steal before the time expires. If judges determine that the steal was early, the pass will not count and the original tricker will have the opportunity to complete their pass. Rule of interference. This is a new one for this year. If any other person or object, including the battler, cameraman, or objects or crowd members, are within the boundaries of the battle floor, so it will be marked in a rectangle on the dimensions of the floor, just like it was last year. A competitor may call for interference to be deliberated by the judges. In the event of an interference, the tricker will have the opportunity to go again, with the timer being reset to 35 seconds and the opportunity to steal still being the same for the opponent. The rule of forfeit. If the tricker is unable to start their pass for injury or any other reason, the opponent may steal as normal. If they are unable to start their next pass before it is stolen again, then the battle is considered forfeited. So if you get 2 passes stolen in a row, you have forfeited the battle. Competitors also have the option to elect forfeit at any time on their will. If a tricker wins a battle, but forfeits from the next round, their previous opponent will take their place. This rule does not apply to third place decider rounds or the final round. So this is to prevent anybody from getting a bye in a round where there is still a round afterwards. This will avoid any unfair advantages from people battling less times than others. So guys, that was a little breakdown of the 2025 Vertigo competition rule set. I went into the best detail I could, but of course if you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comments below or send us a message on Instagram and we'll make sure we get back to you. Also, make sure to check out the PDF linked below to read through the whole thing yourself and to be able to click the links in the document for examples. We can't wait to see all of you guys throw down in the battles this year, so hopefully this video helped you out, and happy training. See you at Vertigo 7.